Uh, but what have you played anything else?
I have, because there was a game that came out on Friday for PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Xbox Series, PC, Switch, and Switch 2.
Ooh.
And it's a remake of a classic from the 2000s. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4.
Of course, yes. I drank a lot, you can tell. Yes!
Yeah, so anyone who doesn't know, this is a skateboarding game from Tony Hawk.
Anyone who doesn't know is too young.
No, these games were very popular back in the late 90s and early 2000s, right up until Tony Hawk's Pro Skate 4, Tony Hawk's Underground and Underground 2, and then PS2 days. The PS3 days didn't do so kindly for the old Tony Hawk's. But it has had a revival in the last few years with the fact that they did Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 remastered. And this is the next one. However, this is a bit different because this is not made by Vicarious Visions like the last one was. Because they've been absorbed by Activision. This one has actually been outsourced to Iron Galaxy. Galaxy, who are notable for quite a few ports, but were also the developer of Season 2 to 4 of Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
They're not a bad studio, actually. They've made some hit and miss at times, but they're not a bad studio. So this one is basically a remaster or remake of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 in one package. It pretty much unifies the mechanics across both of the games, which has annoyed a couple of people because there are certain things that you could do on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 original that you now cannot do on this one. It had a more open-ended system to be able to play the levels rather than the 2-minute times that you had. But you can change it into free roam and do other things to basically make it like that. I actually haven't played Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4 before, and I have not played it yet on this one. I have a lot more affiliation to playing 3, so I'm going through and playing that a lot.
3's the superior one.
So far I've done the Foundry, I've done Canada, and I'm up to Rio, which is the first competition, and it's annoying the hell out of me because I keep bailing during that competition. That run, you only get 1 minute to actually get the best score that you can, and it's like if you bail, it takes points off, and it's kind of annoying. But game is really, really fun. But I have found it very, very confusing because the way that analog sticks used to be back on the older controllers, like the PS2, they used to be at the bottom of the controller, so it meant that you didn't have to default to them. Now with the analog sticks at the top, it's making it a lot more awkward. And I always used to play with D-pad, so I find myself switching between the two frequently, and it's getting quite annoying. And I'll be honest, the Xbox Series X D-pad is not the best. So I just find that the manuals are easier to do with the D-pad rather than anything else. And doing the button combinations for special moves as well was a lot easier. But it is really fun. Still a really, really fun game. I am quite annoyed that a couple of songs from the soundtrack didn't make it in, like Wish by Alien Ant Farm.
Yes! God, I love Alien Ant Farm.
I don't, and I've seen them live. They're kind of terrible.
Oh, they're awful. They're awful, but they're the awful that I like, if that makes sense.
But that was the only song of theirs that I really liked, Wish.
You didn't like their cover of Annie, Are You Okay? Or Smooth Criminal? Oh my
I mean, of course, but it got overplayed.
It was so bad.
It got overplayed like hell on Kerrang, so it was like, ugh.
That's okay. Good point. Good point.
Yeah, but there was also another song that didn't make it onto there, which I'm actually really, really disappointed about, and that's Pulse by Mad Capsule Markets.
Oh, yeah.
Just come on.
I know, I do find it funny, the licenses they couldn't get. I always find that weird.
Yeah, I found it a little bit confusing.
What else are you doing with that song? Nothing.
It's alright because CKY are back on there with 96 Quite Bitter Beings, which is great because listening to that was just like, oh, nostalgia.
Yeah, like just...
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Nana says, this week, despite how insane it has been, by the way, we're now on 6 out of 7 days for errands. God, that's crazy. Oof. I managed to finish the first part of season 2 of Zenless Zone Zero. I
Nice.
did it. And played more Lego Marvel Superheroes, which is very cool. The latter game is good, but God, that camera sucks. Lego cameras always suck, but I do love Lego games. Denker says, "Oh, I know which, but he's talking about on the expedition for T free." And then Mike says, "Thank
Oh,
goodness for game mods."
Danker, if it makes any difference to you, that boss at the end of Act 2, holy crap.
Um, I can actually play the darn game with game mods. I can actually wait. I reread that. Instant recovery, chef's kiss. I did watch a BBC interview with Tony Hawk, which spoke about why some songs didn't make it in. Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
And it
about
wasn't
including
due
the
to
new.
licensing, but rather mixing in some new songs with the old. Okay, I just assumed.
No, I respect
I
it,
made
but
an
it's sort
ass
of like, well,
myself.
there are a couple of songs that I felt probably should have been there. And yes, okay, they got Motorhead back for it because
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, you have to because it was on the title screen. And
Yeah,
to be fair,
exactly.
I was watching. I actually just let that whole movie play out when I started the game up. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is the most
Yeah.
nostalgic
Yeah.
thing, even though it's like new. It was like, this is like brand new nostalgia. In fact, I might even just call the episode "Brand New Nostalgia."
I like that. Yeah. Nostalgia ain't what it used to be. That's very interesting.
Nana, can you note that down in the chat for me, please? Thank you.
So
Anyway,
for
that's my week for gamage or
yeah.
gamage, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, what's your